Welcome, everyone. We have the McFarlane DC Multiverse Page Punchers Shazam, or sometimes known as Captain Marvel. This guy is starting to show up for 2025. I think probably hit retail maybe end of 2024. Me personally, I'm just now getting this guy. There is a variant. Haven't come across the variant, but there is a variant of this costume out there. So because it's Page Puncher, it's going to come with a comic book. This little call out there. And this continues in our timeline of McFarlane figures that come with cloth cape. So I'm kind of excited about that. Also, for me, this is one of my favorite DC characters. For some reason, I saw this character as a little kid and just kind of like really wanted to have a figure of him and never did at the time. There were 8-inch Migos in the 70s for this figure, but I think that was a little bit before my time. And whenever I can get a hold of a really nice Captain Marvel / Shazam figure, I'm always real excited about it. So for the packaging, we can see that he's got a set of fists. He's got his amulet. We know that there's a comic book in here, although you can't really see it well. Oh, I see what they did. So have they done it this way before? I don't think they normally would have the front of the book facing backwards. Normally they have the front of the book facing forward. So this is a new deal. And I don't know if this is an error or if this is just how they're doing the packaging now, but yeah, that's cool. So that's the comic that's inside. So let's go ahead and open them up. So here's our comic. It is a bit difficult to get this comic out without damaging it in some way, but they probably don't expect you to take this out and try to keep it in pristine condition. They mean for people to like read the comics and enjoy reading the comics. But this has got some really fantastic artwork in here. So I would definitely recommend reading this. Another weird thing is the collector card is taped inside, like the tape is on the front of the card, which is odd. But that is the card. You know, it's almost like McFarlane wants these things to be damaged when you open them. I don't know. And here's our figure out of the package. And then just to go over the accessories real quick, he doesn't have many, but he's got his amulet and he's got a set of fists. And as you can see, his default hands, he's got these open, you know, kind of fly around type hands. Speaking of which, he's got some okay neck articulation, but to get him in a good flying pose, you're gonna have to rely on the torso joint to get most of that, but he can do a pretty good flying pose. And this really is a very classic design. I like that we're getting more classic designs now. You know, we've got a lot of modern stuff, a lot of heavily textured, heavily detailed and greebled type suits and cowls and faces. And we're finally starting to get into like 70s and 80s looks. The cape is pretty amazing. It does have a little bit of texture to it, and it's got these really thick gold edges, and every edge has a very thick wire, so you'll be able to get a lot of posing out of this. The body is pretty straightforward for McFarlane. Nothing new to really talk about. So, you know, you get your butterfly joint for the chest, the disc hinge, shoulders, the thigh, the bicep swivel, double elbow. You get a disc hinge hand system, so you can basically get the up and down motion basically however you want. You got a ball joint in the head to the neck. That's it. Ball joint from the chest to the torso. And there's nothing between the torso and the waist, so that's interesting. But this one joint has to do it all. Disc hinge, thighs, and you have to rely on a thigh swivel around the upper hinge for that to work. And you got the double knee, you got the disc hinge ankles with the rocker tilt, and you do have a toe tilt. So pretty standard for McFarlane. And then you will likely want to pose this guy with, another classic character. But as you see, the body's pretty big. So kind of going to pair a little bit better with this body. And now I'm wondering if these are the same body. Seems a little different, but it's really hard to tell. That's a good question. But from the heft and size, these two match up quite a bit better. So if you've been waiting for a good-looking classic Shazam, this is your figure. Pick them up. This guy should be readily available right now. And again, there is a variant out there with a slightly different classic costume. So maybe if you're lucky, you'll run across that at your local brick and mortar retail. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. And as always, please tune in to more videos coming up. Thank you.